What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Blueprint, where the goal is to be whole. I'm your host, Charles Irving, and today is 11 of 40 days of fasting. It's officially the second quarter. Today, I want to talk to you about three things: wanting to quit, remembering your why, and relying on the Lord. It has been a journey. Today, man, it was, it was another trying day. Things didn't go the way that I wanted to, didn't reach my goal. Driving Uber this morning. And again, that perception cycle started to set in, and I literally was like, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. I just got finished talking to them about the fact that I'm not doing this. And I had to it's amazing the things that you have to do to hijack the conversation. That's like, you literally have to hijack the conversation. And the way in which I was able to hijack the conversation today was I literally had to scream out in my car while I was driving, I'm not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not going to go down this spiral of, oh, this is not going to happen. It doesn't matter. Because if I don't reach my goal today, I'll reach it by the end of the week. And if I don't reach it by the end of the week, guess what? God will provide. I don't know how he's going to provide. I don't care how he does it. He is going to do it. And I put myself in a different frame of mind by hijacking the conversation. I had to make my external voice louder than my internal conversation. That was the only way that I could hijack the internal conversation. Was I had to magnify my voice in order to change what I was telling myself in terms of the story I was telling myself about what I was going through and how that was going to play out in the rest of the day, how it was going to play out in the rest of the week. But here's the beautiful thing. Here's the beautiful thing. What's great about this: your life is a dojo. Your life is training ground for you to grow and develop. It's training ground for you to train yourself in a way that allows you to match your behavior with your beliefs more and more as you move forward from one challenge to the next. And I've been sharing with you guys some of the challenges that I've had just with this perception cycle. And this gave me an opportunity. It gave me an opportunity to recognize what I just realized, to hijack the conversation. Do whatever you got to do. Scream, yell, it doesn't matter. Hijack the conversation. You got to hijack the conversation. In order to change the internal conversation that you have to increase the volume of your external voice. And here's the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing is what I realized. I was able to catch the process sooner than I used to. Like, I was probably only in that space for about, in terms of just having this negative conversation, I was only in that space for about 5 minutes. There would be times where I would go hours just kind of worrying and retelling this story over and over and over again, trying to figure out what I could do to embrace the inevitable that I told myself was going to happen that I didn't want to happen. And again, when you're in this space, look, when you're fasting, everything heightens. And again, I'm not hungry. I'm not hungry. I can promise you I am not hungry at all. And this is where you realize food it's not the food that I want. It's the benefits of the food. It's the pleasure of the food. It's the joy of the food. It's all the things that make me feel good as it relates to relieving pain or giving me some sense of fulfillment and satisfaction from being full in my stomach. I remember one time, God shared with me. He was like, you eat till you're full because you don't feel fulfilled. Like I'm trying to eat my way to a life of fulfillment because I just want, I don't feel fulfilled. I'm not doing what it is that I want to do in life at that stage in my, I'm just not doing it. And I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know where to start. I didn't even know what questions to ask. I just knew I'm not doing what's in my heart of hearts. What's in my heart of hearts is speaking to people and encouraging them. What's in my heart of heart is coaching people through the challenges of their life and helping them to grow and transcend their problems so that they can move into a place where, like I said before, they are free from disempowered emotions. They are repositioning themselves for more and able to enjoy life at peace. Like men, we just don't enjoy life. We are just constantly working, trying to provide, the only time we feel good is when we've done something in the life of somebody else, where we were able to provide for them. And if we're just on this hamster wheel of just providing, we don't really enjoy life. We want more out of life, and we're not positioned for more, and we feel stuck. Like, how do I get out of this situation? Some of us are in debt. Some of us are going through a divorce. Some of us have just come out of a divorce. You may have lost a job. You're trying to find something new. Whatever the situation is, you don't know what to do to reposition yourself for more. You want more, but you don't know how to get more. You don't even realize it's not that you're not capable. You just don't have the skills. I know that I got skills to speak, I got skills to coach, but it's like, how do you use those things in order to make money? But the skills to speak and the skills to coach isn't the problem. The problem is that I don't know how to build a business. And when I say build a business, I'm talking about building a system that allows me to attract clients, turn those clients into paying customers, and then retain those clients and have those clients to refer other people. I'm talking about a business system that runs itself. I don't know how to do that. I'm learning more and more and more. But that's what real entrepreneurship is. It's building a business system, but I don't know how to do that. Not the way in which I can execute that in my life. So I have some of the things that I need, but I feel like I need so much more. And that may not be the truth, right? I may not need what I think I need, but that's a lot of the stuff that we feel. And when we find ourselves in this place where we are experiencing these disempowering emotions, we just want to call it quits. I know I wanted to call it quits today. I just wanted to go and bake me a cake. In fact, I went and bought me some cake mix and some brownie mix. And I'm gonna make me a lemon cake, and we'll make me some brownies after this is all over. I'm going to treat myself. Why? Because I want it. But I wanted to, I wanted to quit. I just wanted to give up. Wow, I'm starting to tear up. Um, I just wanted to give up. It's hard. I come on here and I have a certain level of energy on here, um, only because I've been able to kind of sit and I don't have the stress of driving and making all these micro decisions. I've been able to take a nap. I still was able to go to the gym. I didn't do my normal routine, but the pain of restriction, the pain of not experiencing pleasure, right? I say this all the time. We talk a lot about self-discipline, but man, I want to really, really highlight the power and importance of self-control. Self-discipline is doing that which you should do when you don't want to do it. Self-control is refraining from doing that which you shouldn't do when you want to do it. More people are sitting in prison because they lack self-control. More people are in financial debt because they lack self-control. More people are um, divorced because they lack self-control. More people have all kinds of diseases, because of the food that they're eating because they lack self-control. You can go to the gym all you want. You could be the most disciplined person in the world, but anybody who has the kind of physique that you want, who has the kind of body that you want, will tell you, yeah, discipline going to the gym is important. But 90, 85, 90% of the work is food. It's what you eat and how often you eat and how much you eat. It's we talk a lot about self-discipline, but the real power is in self-control. And we don't seem to understand that. And self-control, what I realize as I've done this fast, as I've done other fasts, the reason why self-control is so powerful, in my estimation, is because you don't get anything out of it. You don't get. There's nothing you get. When you are disciplined, when let's say you go to the gym, right? Even though you don't want to go to the gym, when you go to the gym and you lift that weight, when you go to the gym and you finish that routine, right? You feel gratified. You feel satisfied. When I come home and, I've gone through a day and I haven't eaten, even though I wanted to, I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel like, oh, yeah, I did that. Like, no, it's praise God. Lord, thank you for carrying me through. Why? Because I can't do this without him. I can't do this without his strength. Here's the thing. The other thing is that it heightens your sense of time. Like you are very much aware of the pain you're in because you can't do the things that you want to do, and you're experiencing it. Like you're aware of it, which means I tell people all the time, you can understand the real pain of being aware of something all the time when you look at a clock, because everything moves slow when you're watching the clock. And that's what awareness does. When you're aware of your body, when you're aware of your mind, when you're aware of what you're experiencing that you have to experience and endure, that you don't want to endure, you just, everything gets heightened, right? It magnifies it. And because you don't get any satisfaction, you don't get any gratification whatsoever. That's what delayed gratification is. It's self-control. They used to do these tests where they have these kids who, to determine who would be successful, they put some marshmallows or something in front of them. See who could wait the longest. If you wait, instead of one cookie, instead of one marshmallow, I'll give you 3. And whoever could delay gratification, they had in their mind that they were probably going to succeed because they were able to control themselves. Like I told you before, there's a passage of scripture, I forgot where it is. I said it in the last one. He who controls himself is greater than the one who takes a city. So self-control is difficult because you don't get anything out of it. All the glory goes to God. All the credit, all the kudos, all of the acknowledgement goes to him, because I'm not doing this. One of the things that I have to remind myself, and I want you to remember this, the only thing that comes after compromise is regret. That's it. If I quit, I already know from having quit on so many things before, wishing I had stayed the course, because I realized after quitting I was capable of handling more. I just didn't believe that I could at that time. I have to remind myself, you've been here before. You felt like you couldn't do it. And when you gave in and you gave up, you realize I could have waited. I could have lasted a little longer. The only thing that comes after compromise is regret. So I just want to encourage you, if you're whatever it is that you're doing, don't quit. Unless it's you're doing something wrong, then you need to stop. But if you're doing something worthwhile, don't quit. Take a break, pause for a moment, but don't quit, because it only leads to like Trinity said to Neo in the Matrix. You've already been down this road. You know exactly where it leads. The second thing I want to talk to you about is remembering your why. I started this fast because I wanted spiritual change. And I know that all external transformation begins with me transforming internally. And I was reminded of that today. I was reminded of the fact that no, you did this because you looked at your life. I have 25 years or so of journals, and just looking over my life, I remember I looked at it one day and I was like, yo, I feel like, not feel like, but I'm in the same situation, same position I was in, several years ago. Like nothing has changed. The faces have changed, the relationship has changed, but I'm still in the same place. Now, to be fair, it wasn't that nothing had changed. What was happening was the external of my life hadn't changed. And God had to remind me that the changes that were happening with me were all internal. No, I was in another relationship that was going bad, right? My finances had gotten worse. I ended up developing diabetes, in my second marriage. And so things seem to have gotten worse. But God had reminded me, he's like, no, there's some stuff that has changed. But like a tree, like the bamboo tree, right? They say a bamboo tree, it takes 5 years. You plant it and you don't see nothing. You don't see anything for 5 years. And I feel like since I've been with the Lord for 25 years. And it's like, man, Lord, like when? Because ain't nothing changing. My life still looks very much the same as it did. I'm still struggling with the same stuff. I'm still afraid, right? I still feel like I can't handle my responsibilities. But God he's like, but that's not the truth. There's a lot of stuff that you didn't think you could do. You didn't think you were capable of, that you've done. And he started to remind me of the things that I had done. And he's like, that's you went from being homeless to being a homeowner. And you didn't even want to get an apartment because you didn't feel like you were stable enough, whether mentally, emotionally, or financially, in terms of being able to keep a job long enough to buy a home and keep that house, so that and pay your bills, so that you didn't get a foreclosure or what I thought an eviction, because that's what happened to me when I was 10. But again, it was like, no, you got to remember why you wanted to do this. You wanted to do this because you wanted change. And although there has been some great strides internally in regards to some things that has changed, and that is encouraging, it's like, no, but there's some stuff that still needs to change, because I need to bring forth some fruit. I need to bring forth some lasting change, financially, relationally, and in my health. I need to bring forth some change where it's not change, it's transformation. I'm looking to change that results. Change is an internal thing that results into an external transformation, where my life does not look the same because I'm not the same. And granted, I'm not the same in many facets of my life, but I personally want to look at my life and say, I am not the same. Not only am I not the same, my life is no longer. I'm not in debt. I'm not divorced. I'm not having diabetes. I want my life externally to change, but I know that there's still some stuff that has to change internally. And these are spiritual things. And what I've come to realize is that when we talk about spiritual development, what we're talking about is, as a friend of mine, Destiny Inspire, said, we're talking about belief transformation. There are some things that I fundamentally have to transform in my beliefs. I have to change in my beliefs in order for it to manifest in my external life. You have to, right? Because and the premise of everything that I do is to match my behavior with my beliefs. But in order to match my behavior with my beliefs in a good way, in a healthy way, I got to change from an unhealthy belief to a healthy new idea that I hold in my heart, because behavior comes out of belief. So I have to deal with, Charles, you don't feel like you're enough. I have to go through this process of recognizing, no, but you are. Not because you earned this, not because you did this work. This fast, and even if I accomplish this fast, it doesn't make me any more valuable than I was before doing it. That's one of the things that is being cemented in my soul as I go through this. It's not about this. The fast isn't going to do anything. The only thing that's going to change this is God. But this is just my sacrifice to him to say, Lord, I'm ready for change. I'm ready for transformation. I've been praying, Lord. There's a story of the sower, the parable of the sower, right? Some seed fell on the ground, some seed fell on rocky places, some seed fell on thorns, and then some seed fell on good soil. And God said to me one day, he said, you are the one who the seed has fallen on thorns. It springs up, it grows, but the worries of this life, the deceitfulness of wealth, and the desire for other things choke it. And that's where I was. So I began praying, Lord, I need you to make me into good soil. Because the revelation he gave me was that if you read the story, and the thing about the seed that fell on thorns, there was nothing wrong with the soil, right? There was nothing wrong with the soil. The plant began to grow. There was something wrong with the environment once it came out of the soil. There was something wrong, right, with the environment. I needed to change completely my internal environment. I need to change externally my internal environment, right? I need to and what does that look like? It looks like not just having an idea, believing it, working towards it, but being able to persevere in the face of opposition, in the face of challenge, in the face of difficulty, and continuously to move forward despite what's going on until maturity happens, until fruit happens, right? Because that's what good soil does. And I haven't been persevering. So this fast gives me the opportunity to train myself in the process of persevering. Because again, when you are in a state of persevering and you're facing challenges, the thing is that you have to be able to move forward and do the work, even though there's no reward after the work activity that you do, until you complete the assignment. That's what it is. So even though I know that, it doesn't make it any easier. It just gives me some information to rely on when it does get hard, to remind myself and remind, right? To remind, because something's going to happen where it's going to take me out of this mindset that I just shared and bring me into that perception cycle, right? And that perception cycle doesn't lead you to the truth. And what I just shared was the truth. So I got to remind myself from the perception in those moments of difficulty. I got to recreate my mind with the truth, so that in the face of difficulty, in the face of challenge, in the face of adversity, I can continue to move forward, knowing, believing, trusting that at the end, one, I will make it to the end, and that what it is that I'm looking for at the end will be far greater than the pain that I had to endure to get there. So you got to remember your why. And last, relying on the Lord. This is interesting for me, as I'm instinctively doing things that I don't even realize I'm doing it until after I'm doing it. And what I mean by that is I'm doing it, but I don't have the words to articulate what I'm doing until after. And this is about posturing your heart to rely on God's strength and not the strength of your will. See, one of the things that you can get caught up in when you're doing a fast is trying to prove how strong you are. And as a believer, you don't want to do that. Like, I had to catch it. And I won't even say I had to catch it. God had to show it to me, because it was such a subtle thing. I'm in this place of weakness, right? I don't like feeling weak, and I want to accomplish that which I set out to do. The only thing for me to do is to, try to rely on my strength to get me through. But I only have but so much strength. I only have but so much energy. And even if I had the strength and the energy to do it, that's not how I want to go about doing this. Why? Because this isn't about me relying on me. It's about me learning to rely on God so that God can bring me through. Because only when I rely on God do I get God-like results. If I rely on me and I accomplish this in my own strength, I don't get to learn to rely on the Lord. And here's what happens. There's so many other things in my life moving forward that it requires me to trust the Lord, and I don't have that part of me developed. Why? Because I only know how to rely on me. I only practice relying on me. So this fast is about putting me in a posture where I have to rely on the Lord. And it's like, okay, well, what does that look like? It is truly in the moments of weakness, right? In the weakest moments that you have, when you're tired and you don't feel like doing anything. Like what I did earlier was I sat down on my bed and I just said, Lord, I thank you. Now, normally you want to scream and shout and try to, again, exercise strength in the moment of worship and praise and giving thanks to try to prove that you trust the Lord. But that's not required, because that doesn't prove anything. What it is just coming to the Lord and being like, yo, I'm going to be sincere about where I am. And right now I'm weak, but I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for carrying me through this day. I want to say thank you for providing for me. Even though I didn't reach my goal, God showed me, he's like, but I already got you, because you have 4 or 5 months of bills already paid up because of the way you structure your bills based on what I told you to do years ago. I was like, oh, you're right. He's like, I've already provided. So I'm like, man, Lord, thank you. And the reason why is you remove the stress of trying to reach the goal, right? The stress of um uh uh, uh trying to make ends meet. Which affects the stress that affects how you relate to people. Yelling and screaming, not because you're upset about what they're doing, but because you don't have control over your life. That's really the issue with a lot of men. You don't feel like you got control over your life, and therefore you are extremely agitated and frustrated. So anything that happens in life that does not go the way that you want it to will set you off. You want to, again, you want to be free from disempowered emotions. You want to reposition yourself for more, and you want to be able to enjoy life at peace. And you can't do that because you don't have control over your life. And the reason why you don't have control over your life is because you don't have control over you. You don't have control over what you do in difficult situations. You just try to power yourself through. And God is like, I'm telling you, that's not going to work. You're gonna try and control that which can't be controlled, and you're gonna drive yourself crazy. And you're gonna be looking at your life like, what is going on? Why doesn't this work? It doesn't work because you're not relying on the one who makes all things work in accordance to his will. So being able to just sit for a moment and reflect, like recall back, think about some things that you have that are beneficial. Apart from everything else that's going wrong, what are some of the things that have gone right? And just thank God for that. But here's the other thing. Again, I said this the other day because I have a different revelation. God, thank you for the pain. Thank you for the struggle. He's teaching me all the stuff that I'm sharing with you. Some of the stuff I had written down, but some of the stuff is coming out as I'm saying it. I'm teaching you. I'm not just teaching you, right? I'm training you. And training is a long-term process of doing the same thing over and over and over again and making micro adjustments until you get it right. But we don't do that. Whether it be in the world or in the kingdom, we call it training, but it's not training. We tell people what to do, we teach them, but we don't train them. And that's one of the major problems when it comes to personal development. That's what I want my program to do. I don't want to just tell you and teach you. I want to help you put yourself in a place where you can train yourself to grow and develop to match your beliefs and your behaviors, where your new healthy belief in your heart you can cement through your behavior that matches it. You got to be trained. And your life is a dojo to do just that. And God is the greatest trainer in the world. We don't like things that he puts us through to train us, but when it's all said and done, when it is all said and done, you are more powerful than you ever thought, imaginable. So being able to, again, posture myself to rely on God's strength and not the strength of my will. Now, I need a strong will, right? I do need a strong will. You need a strong will. But the strength of your will can only get you so far. There's a major part where it plays in your success, but it could also play in your demise. So being able to give thanks to God, worshiping God for who he is, not just what he's done. Give thanks for what he's done, but worship him for who he is. He is the King. He is the Lord of Lords. He is the sovereign Lord. He is the one who works out everything in conformity with his will. He is the one who loves you unconditionally. Not only does he love you, he likes you. A lot of people don't realize that God really likes his people. He really, really, his affection is for you. He is for you. It doesn't mean that because you're having challenges, you're going through problems and you're experiencing setbacks, that God is not with you and he's not for you. A lot of it is training. It is to train you in righteousness so that you are postured to do his will in the earth, right? And not your own will. Again, this is what fasting is about. It's about denying yourself. It's about dying to your desires and not allowing your desires to be your God. God, G-O-D, govern our decisions, govern our desires. It's not allowing, right, your desires to govern what you do. You are able to subject your feelings and your emotions, but more so your desires, to your principles, right? To your vows, to your values. And God willing, you value principles. You value the principle of making Jesus Lord of your life. But even that, just your principles, right? Can you do that? For many of us, that is difficult. And the last thing I'll say about relying on the Lord is praying his word in your life. Again, there's a lot of stuff that I'm learning about God and God's word that I didn't have words for. I didn't know, right? I was as I was worshiping, giving thanks and things of that nature, I just started praying. And I started praying things that I had just been reading about. In the Psalms 118 gives thanks. It talks about how, when the person who wrote it, I think it was David, his situation and circumstances when his enemies had surrounded him, in the name of the Lord, he had cut them down, right? The Lord had rescued him. I started praying as if if I had wrote it. And as I came, like, as I was saying these things, right, I'm like, wow, I've never really prayed like this before. I'm praying for character to change. I'm praying for the strength to finish what I start. Why? Because God, you said that I was made in your image and in your likeness. I'm an image bearer of you, and you said, right? You finish what you start. So I want to finish. I want to be like you. I don't want to start something and not finish it. I've been doing that for too long. I started college twice, didn't finish. Compromised core values around finances. Now I'm in debt, right? Uh, 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 Relationship challenges, having been with multiple people over the years and then 2 failed marriages. Like abortion after, like, come on, like nothing has come to completion. It's just premature death has been surrounding my life, and it's got to stop. It stops. You said the buck stops with me. And I understand that meant responsibility does not pass beyond this point. That's one of the major reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because it's on me. It's my response. No, it's nobody else's fault. Yes, you got challenges with people and so, but it's on me. It's nobody else's fault. Right? They played a part in certain things, but they are not the foundational reason for certain things. I made these decisions, and I got to make some new ones to get from where I am to where I want to go, so that the latter days of my life are greater than the former. The buck stops with me. The buck stops with you. The buck stops with you. And if you don't take ownership of that truth in your heart, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing changes. So, in conclusion, God is faithful. And again, we are made in his image and in his likeness. But for us to be faithful like him, we must first have faith in him to prosper us and bring us to success. Philippians 1:6 says, "Be confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it to completion until the day of Christ." As always, don't try and change the world. Instead, build you, and your world will transform. Until next time, y'all, peace.